I welcome you all to an event that we have planned for you this evening, with our guest speaker being exonerated Raymond Santana from the Central Park Five. Many of you may not be aware who and what the Lawrence Social Justice Club is about. The Lawrence Social Justice Club mission is basically to raise public awareness of legal issues that involve our community. We are here to encourage close relations between our student bodies at Hostos, as well as the legal issues that surround our community. The members of Lawrence Social Justice Club is all about, obviously, social justice. And to give you a clear idea as to what social justice is, it's basically an ideal that embraces all aspects of civilized life and is linked to the fundamental notions of fairness and the cultural beliefs about right and wrong. Given to light what has been in the news recently, with the Ferguson and the Brown, we are firm believers that there should be a right and wrong in our criminal justice system. Sadly to say, at this point, it is our criminal justice system that is on trial at this very moment. What I'm going to do now is introduce Mr. Eric Stewart. He will go more further in detail about what the event is. I thank each and every one of you for attending today. Thank you.
Thank you, Camelia. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very glad that you're all here. Early last month, we of the Lawrence Social Justice Club were deciding on which type of event to put on. We decided to revisit the case of the Central Park Five, as it illustrated that though justice may sometimes be delayed, eventually it will come. For those of you who might not be familiar with this case, allow me to give you a brief summary. On the evening of April 19, 1989, a white woman was viciously attacked in Central Park while jogging. She was hit over the head, dragged into bushes, and raped. This poor lady was beaten literally within an inch of her life and left for dead, and thankfully she survived. Five teenage boys, 4 black and 1 Hispanic, including our guest speaker this evening, Mr. Raymond Santana, were arrested in and around Central Park soon after the crime occurred. The detectives told each boy that if they confessed to the woman's attack, they would be allowed to go home. Those promises were not made on videotape, but the confessions that the guys gave soon after were. Of course, after confessing, they were not allowed to go home and were booked on charges immediately. Those charges included rape and attempted murder. And during their trials, they kept trying to convince the jury to believe that those confessions were coerced by the police, but no one believed them. The prosecution had such small amounts of circumstantial evidence against the boys that the juries really just made their verdict based off of the videotapes, and that's what influenced their decisions. Each boy was eventually convicted. 4 of them, because they were under 16, when arrested, were convicted to 5 to 10 years. Corey Wise, because he was 16 at the time of his arrest, was convicted at 5 to 15 years. Take a moment and think about what it is I just said. Think about your own lives at the ages of 14, 15, and 16. Think about what you were doing at those ages. And now imagine that you've been accused of some of the most worst crimes imaginable, and even worse, you've just been convicted of them. You're only a child. And on top of that, you're 100% innocent. This case rocked the city and the country. 5 minority boys were accused of raping and almost killing a white woman. The media called the attack wilding, and that's a phrase that continues to exist today. And every vicious animal reference imaginable was used against these boys to describe them. Today, the media refers to minorities as thugs, a great alternate word for the N-word when we're arrested. But back then, they just called us animals. In 2002, a man named Matthias Reyes confessed to the crime. He provided details that were completely absent from the original arrest and prosecution, and eventually the convictions against the 5 who were now grown men by the time were thrown out. They eventually filed lawsuits against the city for false arrests and convictions. Then Mayor Michael Bloomberg fought against those lawsuits and refused to settle with the Central Park Five, as they were now known as. This fight lasted for 12 years. In September of this year, Mayor Bill de Blasio fulfilled one of his campaign promises by authorizing the city of New York to offer a substantial financial settlement to the wrongfully incarcerated men. It was because of the recent settlement that we of the LSJ decided to reintroduce this story to Hostos. We have planned to air the film in its entirety that describes this case, and it would give a lot more detail than my poor man's summary of this case. But in light of the travesty of last night's grand jury verdict in Staten Island, coming so soon after the fiasco of the Ferguson failure to indict in the Michael Brown case last week, we felt we needed to change course. Now let me be 100% clear to everyone within the sound of my voice. We are not here to bash the police. I repeat, we are not here to bash the police. This is not a forum, this is not to be turned into a forum to air any hatred or to be seen as a starting point for anyone to go out and riot. The right to peaceful protest is guaranteed in our Constitution, and if anyone after leaving wants to do so, that's your right. But nothing, and I mean nothing, violent. No one is going to say that we at Hostos are anti-police or opposed to the criminal justice system. There are future police people in this room right now, and I myself will be an assistant district attorney for the city of New York upon completion of my education. Thank you. I needed that, thank you. So I say again, we are not here to bash the establishment, but we are here to figure out how to change it, because these types of criminal acts cannot be allowed to continue. Two days ago, a pro football player named Darnell Dockett commented on Twitter that he was trying to get out of jury duty, and that tweet went viral. This sadly is the attitude of so many of us. But then we wonder why juries make bad decisions, as they have in the past couple of weeks. It's because we, people of color, especially the young, do not fulfill our civic duties. If we're not on the juries, why are we complaining when juries go against us and make bad verdicts? That's a clapping moment. This past summer, President Obama said, "Don't boo, vote," during one of his speeches. So I say to you, don't get mad at verdicts. Do something about them. Participate as jurors, and please, for the love of God, vote. And not, and not just in presidential elections, but for the local ones as well. Those are even more important than the national ones because these outcomes literally affect our day-to-day lives. If we're going to make real changes to the criminal justice system, we need to be a part of the political arena. I see myself as a politician in the future. Big surprise, huh? But we can all contribute if we make our voices heard. And they will be heard if we are part of the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Eric. Give him a round of applause. For many of the newcomers that just came in, and reintroduce myself once again, I am Camilla Robinson, and I am the president of Law and Social Justice Club here at Hostos. Right now, we're going to introduce the film to you guys, so if you can just quiet down a little bit and take a look at the screen here. Thank you.